What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. I am your host, Damon Anthony. I know it's been a little minute since we talked. Life has been lifing, but let's get to some sports. There's been a lot going on in the sports world. As usual, I'm always going to do a weekly, kind of preview of all the NFL games. But before we get to the NFL, let's talk about the rest of the sports world. There's actually a lot going on, a lot of real cool stuff. Baseball is wrapping up its regular season, getting real close to the postseason. So we're getting a lot of teams that are clinching playoff berths and at least one or two divisions, right? So in the AL, we already know the Yankees are in the playoffs. The Cleveland Guardians are in, and the Cleveland Guardians have already clinched their division. So they're sitting back kicking it. And they're only 1.5 games behind the Yankees to have home field advantage in the AL playoffs. That's going to be huge. This fan base here in Cleveland will uplift that team. We all know what the fan base is in the Yankees. They're rabid. They're huge. They're going to be there for their team. They'll also boo the shit out of them when they need to. This Cleveland area, these fans, they're here for their team. So if they happen to get the top seed, hey, maybe we got a little World Series action come around the corner this fall, right? In the National League, Philadelphia Phillies clinched playoff spot. The Milwaukee Brewers have clinched their division, which is great. Love to see the Brew Crew in there. And then the Dodgers have clinched a playoff spot. They are yet to clinch the division because San Diego is right behind them. And the Padres team is actually really good. So, you never know what could happen there. Currently, it looks like Philly and the Dodgers are tied for that top spot in the NL playoff race. So if the Dodgers can wrap it up in their division, we'll see what happens with Philly. We may have a good pennant race there in the NL. I'd probably say sitting here now, my prediction is going to be the Cleveland Guardians versus the Dodgers. Dodgers are just a wagon. And then they got Shohei, and Shohei is remarkable. He's repeatedly putting up these ridiculous numbers. This week, he created his own new club. There's always been the 40-40 club, 40 homers, 40 stolen bases. This guy said, all right, cool. I want up that 50-50 club. And then when he clinched the 50-50, homie hit 3 homers that night. Like, the dude's phenomenal. He's remarkable. But let's not be that much of a prisoner of the moment, where we don't remember the people that came before. Best hitter ever in baseball, I'm going to say Tony Gwynn. Pete Rose, monster, absolutely, but Tony Gwynn was just a whole different kind of dude, right? And then Barry Bonds, whether you like it or not, steroids or not, he's one of the greatest hitters of all time. Yeah, he hit home runs, and we can, attribute some of that to the roids, sure. But dude's one of the best hitters ever. And they both did it over an extended period of time. So let's see if Shohei keeps this up, because that's the biggest thing. And we all know that he's more than likely going to get back to pitching. But, what we're seeing right now is just great. It's great for this generation. It's great for people my generation to just see somebody come out and just ball like that. Stuff like that is always fantastic, right? So yesterday also, college football. Now, college football is becoming real interesting because there's a lot of parity. There's only, I would probably say, a handful of really good teams that I'm going to look at and I say, yeah, those are the ones. Texas, Ole Miss, Michigan looks pretty good out there. Those are teams. I mean, Ohio State looks good, but they haven't played nobody yet. Penn State looks all right, but there's a lot of parity. Missouri almost lost to Vandy. When you look at some of these matchups, Nebraska, they had looked good over the first couple weeks. They lose to Illinois, right? Tennessee, Oklahoma. Tennessee continues to look really well. That's another team that I really have some high hopes for later on. They knocked off Oklahoma yesterday. Then probably the game of the day was USC at Michigan. That one was a real hard-fought battle. Michigan won by 3. Can't take anything away from USC. I mean, they went to the big house and they lost. But just a great game, fantastic game all the way around. Um, Probably one of the biggest moments yesterday was the Colorado team. Colorado beating Baylor, having to force overtime with a Hail Mary right at the end of the game. Travis Hunter knocking the ball out in overtime to be able to hold down the victory. This Colorado Buffalo team, now I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to make the playoffs or even that they're that good of a team. They are exciting. They're exciting to watch whether they win or lose, especially because of the whole Coach Prime aura wrapped around them. But they went ahead and got business done yesterday. So college football, it's been, there's no real huge juggernauts except for maybe Texas is poking out there. I want to see what happens coming up with Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers. How's that going to work out when Quinn's back healthy? We know he was the starter. He was the big guy, but Arch Manning balling since he had to take over for him. Simple as that. Like the proof's in the pudding. It can't even. It's not even one of those things where it's like he's a Manning. Dude's putting up numbers, and the guy could run. He could run faster than all of his uncles combined. So that's going to be a real interesting thing to see what Texas is going to do next there, right? So let's definitely keep our eye on this. And with that 12-team playoff, it leaves a lot of room for those two losers to get in. So some of these games that we're seeing early, we don't know how much that's actually going to affect these teams later on getting in. Teams like, say, Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, they keep doing what they're doing. They're going to get in. They're going to be high seeded. But the back half, those back six teams, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Going to be real interesting as it unfolds just to see if teams do get eliminated. Like when we look at pro schedules and pro standings, a lot of times by in the NFL, like maybe by week 10, week 11, you already know there's a handful of teams. They're mathematically eliminated. I don't know if that can happen with college because there is some opinionated feelings on how teams make rankings. So that's something that I'm real anxious to see. And I really just want to see that process, how that goes. We always know that there's teams that bitch about not getting in. It's really going to go down this year. Those teams that come in 13, 14, 15, they're going to make a case, and their case is probably going to be rather valid. That's just stay tuned on that one. Something big to see. Another thing going on in sports before we get to the NFL, WNBA playoffs start today. I will tune into some of those games. Anybody out there that doesn't watch the WNBA that says they're a sports fan or says they're a basketball fan, come on, turn the TV on, watch the game. Really great competition, really good games, really good games. So I'm expecting to see, just some real good games, to be honest with you. Matchups are Dream at Liberty. I'm going to take the Liberty in that one. I actually think the Liberty is going to win the East. With Stewie, with with Ionescu, they got ballers over there, and they continue to always play well, especially together. Everybody, all things considered, everybody's healthy. There's no reason I can't see the Liberty rolling through the East. Also in the East, we got the Fever at the Sun. So last year, the Fever absolutely sucked. They draft Caitlin Clark. The team changes, the dynamic, the whole nine. And Caitlin Clark is an absolute monster. Let's not forget that. But she was able to bring them to the playoffs. She made a little bit of a statement as far as potentially being an MVP. She absolutely should be Rookie of the Year. But the MVP is also playing today. Asia Wilson. We got the Storm at the Aces. That one's going to be a real good series also. But I got the Aces knocking that one out. In that Fever Sun series, I'm going to take the Fever in that one. I'm going to take the Fever. I'm going to take the buzz with them. And then when they're at home, it's going to be raucous because Indiana does have fantastic basketball fans. They stand behind their teams always. If you ever watch the old Pacers or anything like that, or actually even the Fever when they had Nikki McCray, those teams, the city shows out and they absolutely roll behind their team. Now, Storm Aces, give me the Aces. Asia Wilson, nothing like her in the league. She's fantastic. I also love her swag and her style. To be honest with you, she comes in white tee, gray sweats on game days. The other day, her Kelsey Plum, couple players. Coach Hammond said, "Y'all not playing today. I need you in street clothes. I don't even want you to even pretend like y'all playing." So, that's the mind state when the coach has to say, "I need you in street clothes." That tells me that some of those players, including Asia, they're ready to roll at all times. And then also, back with Asia Wilson, I talked about this recently. She was the best player in the league. Got a little feedback on that, but she continues to show. Broke the record for most points in a season. Just broke the record for most rebounds in the season. And if you've seen that press conference, it was fantastic because she had no idea that she broke that record. She doesn't even really pay attention to rebounds, even though she can get them. And sometimes, apparently, the coach has to say, "Yo, Asia, let's get some rebounds." And then she'll go and fill up that stat line. Just a fantastic player. The last matchup for WNBA playoffs is the Phoenix Mercury at the Lynx. I would like to pick the Mercury here, especially because I think this is going to be Diana Taurasi's last season. And they do have a really good team. They got good vets. Brittany Griner's on the team, but I got to take the Lynx here. There's a reason why a team has been doing as well as maybe you think they should. As good as Diana is, that team's not that great. So I'm going to take the Lynx there. But this playoffs, I think, is going to be really good, really great TV, really a lot to cheer for. So I will be locked in a little bit to the WNBA playoffs, and we'll talk about that often. As some of this stuff ramps up, hey, we're going to have to talk a little more often. That's just how that's going to roll, right? All right, so let's get on to the NFL. All right, NFL, we know Thursday we had a game. We had the Patriots at the Jets. Boring game. Jets won 24-3. Drake May did make his first appearance in an NFL regular season game, really because of the blowout. I don't think they should have played him that late. Maybe it should have started the second half. We're seeing Jacoby Brissett get banged up a little bit. But why put the guy in when it's just time for the other team to pin their ears back and just come after him? He's not going to be able to read defenses that way. That makes no sense. Zero sense. You're just showing him how fast and how dangerous it is without, letting him actually learn anything on the field. But the Jets look pretty good. Aaron Rodgers actually, started to round back into that Aaron Rodgers form. Really nothing more to that. He was throwing some dimes out there. He was looking like Rodgers, just the same brain processes and all of those things. So the Jets, these are all of these little games. These are good building blocks for them. And the fact that they, started against the 49ers, you got to start against a great defense, great team. See where we're at. Litmus test, right? Then they played against the Titans. Yeah. All right. Kind of get into it. Now you play, this is Rodgers' first division game. So now the buzz is different. The vibe's different. The whole thing is different. Now you see they're starting to round. So let's see how this Jets team continues to grow, especially pending injury. That's going to be a real, real big one. All right, other games going on. My guys, Niners. We got the Rams. So this is a road home game. This is what we like to say in 49er land because it's the Rams. So when you watch the game, you're probably going to see 75% of the crowd is going to be wearing red, going to be dressed something like this because 49ers do travel and we take over SoFi, right? But this one is a real interesting game. We know on the Rams side of the ball, they're missing Puka, they're missing Cooper Kupp. They have a slew of injuries that's going to kind of alter how that offense looks. Well, the 49ers now, this is 2020 all over again, or 2021, the year after the first loss to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I remember going into that season, feeling good about that season, then boom, just like that, everybody gets hurt. Everybody gets hurt. This is kind of one of those, at this moment, we do have a lot of players, obviously, but going into this game, Christian McCaffrey's on the IR, Debo's out. George Kittle just got ruled out. That's definitely some game-changing things there. But this is that time when Brock Purdy, hey, Brock, dial it up. He's supposed to be the guy. We all got faith in you and believe in you. But now show them. Show them. Brandon Ayuk, you held out. You got your bread. You got your money. I'm happy you got your money. But now you're missing some guys. So you're the one that we got to lean on. So I mean, I'm always gonna take the Niners. But I would take them anyway against the Rams. I don't believe in the Rams. We don't believe you. You need more people. But this should be a real interesting one. I'm expecting, some pretty good scores by the Niners. I'm going to say Niners 27-17. That's where I'm going to go there. Let's just see how that works out. All right. Game in my home area. New York Football Giants at the Cleveland Browns. This one, the Browns still haven't looked to me like I expected. Thought they were going to come out just with the season, play a lot better, get their thing done. Currently, they're not. They did win last week to get to 1-1, but it was a very ugly, terrible, horrible game to watch. If you're a Browns fan, you're just happy you won. Now, on the other side of the field, the Giants look absolutely horrible. They just look horrible, top to bottom. I'm going to take the home team, take the Browns this one. I'm going to go Browns by 7, Browns by 8. I'm going to go 18-10. I'm going to give you the same score as last week that they won. I'm going to give you 18-10. That's what I'm going to give you. I feel like this game is going to be an ugly one to watch, but I got the Browns taking this one down. All right, we're going to have Green Bay at Tennessee. This one's going to be cool because of Malik Willis. We know Jordan Love's out. Willis does start this game. He's playing against the team that kind of gave up on him for Will Levis. These teams can make whatever decisions they want. That's on them. That's their money. They pay the bills. They draft the players. But when a guy comes back and he wants to whoop up on you, don't say nothing. And Tennessee has not looked good. And Will Levis has looked strange. So I expect to see a pretty solid game with this one. Green Bay played a really good game last week with Malik Willis at the QB. I'm going to take Green Bay. Let me see. Green Bay, Tennessee is favored by 3. I take Green Bay +3 on that one. I think Green Bay is going to win that game. Let's say 21 to 13. I think Tennessee will score, but they to me they just don't look like a good team right now. All right, then we're going to have the Bears at the Colts. This one should be a pretty interesting one. We're going to see the Bears continue to kind of build. Can't really, the jury's still out on Caleb Williams, just because of how the Bears are built a little bit, and with some of the injuries, they definitely need some help on the line. Maybe they should have looked at that instead of looking at some of the other stuff that they brought in. Meanwhile, the Colts, I still don't know who they are yet. I really don't, because Anthony Richardson hasn't been consistent. You see that he has the tools. Totally see that he has the tools. They also have the players. There's nothing I don't see that says they don't have the players. It's just getting it done. We know this is their coach's second season. Let's just see what happens there. But I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to take it by like a real close margin. I like the Colts 14-13 in this one. I think the Bears are actually going to look decent, and the Colts are just going to win it down the stretch with a touchdown, take it home 14-13 Colts. I think it's going to push that line that I'm looking at right now. Next game on the docket, Vikings. They are host to the Houston Texans. Now the Texans have continued to just look like what we expect. They're coming off a really good season last year. They're going to keep just marching forward, and I think they're just a really good team. That being said, Minnesota, they're 2-0. Beat the 49ers last week. Did their thing. Really, really have nothing bad to say about the Vikings. But I like Houston. Houston to me is a better team. Both teams they're dome teams, so there's no, there's no advantage for the Vikings there other than that they're at home and the skull clap, all of that. Yeah, that's great. But I like Houston to win this game. They're giving up 2. And I can see that, but I got 24-20 on this one. Houston, let's see if I'm right. Now we got Eagles, Saints. This is a good matchup. Looking at the schedule before the season, I would not have thought that this would be a good matchup. But the Saints are rolling in 2-0, and they're offensive juggernaut right now. They've had 15 offensive drives. They've scored on all 15. That's amazing. Meanwhile, Philly, we've seen a little up and down from them, right? We saw them beat Green Bay week 1. Then we saw Atlanta come back and win on Monday night. So Philly's going to be coming in a little, I would hope, a little hungry, a little ready to smack somebody around. But these Saints look good. Saints keep marching in. I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints here. The line is Saints by 3. I think they're going to score more than that. Well, I'm not score more than that. I think they're going to put up some good points. I got the Saints actually going above 40 again. Why wouldn't I, right? It seems nuts. But I got the Saints 45-28. I think they're going to put a little something on the Eagles. Saints might be real. Hope I'm wrong because I didn't pick them to win their division. But no, this Saints team, they really look good. Really can't say too much bad about it. Next matchup, Chargers, Steelers. This one also interesting. Chargers are 2-0, but they beat 2 bad teams. Steelers also 2-0, but their offense looks real discombobulated. I like the Steelers at home here. The line is 2.5. I think that's a fair line because I think it's going to be a low scoring, fair amount of field goals. It's going to be one of those. I'm going to say I like the Steelers 17-14, maybe 17-13, somewhere around there. But it's going to be a real interesting one. Don't know if Justin Herbert's going to play. He may be hurting a little bit. His receiving core is a little battered up. But that Pittsburgh offense doesn't look like they're all the way together and ready yet. So I'm not going to put a ton of emphasis on them. I'm going to go 17-14, 17-13, somewhere around there with Steelers. Next matchup is Denver at Tampa. Now, this one smells like a trap game if it wasn't for the fact that Denver's bringing in a rookie quarterback who's still kind of trying to figure it out. I don't think Tampa's clicking all the way like they should. I think they're still trying to figure it out too. But I do like Tampa at home in this one. The line is given 6. I like it. I really do. I'm going to say this one's going to be more around the 24-13 range. But I definitely will take Tampa at home. They've looked pretty good. Baker's looked pretty good. Denver just hasn't. There's no two ways about it. I put a bow tie on a pig, but they just haven't looked good. Next matchup we're going to have is Carolina Panthers at the Las Vegas Raiders. This is one of those games, and you guys will hear me say it. This is a no one cares game. Giants, Browns, no one cares games. And I'm talking about other than their fan base. These games don't excite you. Carolina at the Raiders is not exciting at all. We'll see what Andy Dalton does in his return as a starter. I don't know. This just is whack. I'm glad that I don't live in either one of these places so that this would be the only damn game on TV. I'd have to get the package or go to a restaurant or sports bar or something if I lived in one of these places, because this just looks like it's just terrible. I'm going to take the Raiders at home just because they're at home and Carolina's terrible, and why not? But I think the Raiders will put some points on the board. I like the Raiders winning 31-10. I think they're going to smack them people around a little bit. 31-10. Carolina's horrible. The Raiders, they're all right, but yeah, that's what I got. Totally a game no one cares about outside of those places. All right. Miami, Seattle. This has turned into another like no one cares game. With Tua down, we know Skylar Thompson's is starting. I don't know, man. Homie doesn't look really great at all. He just looks like a quarterback, so it kind of neutralizes their attack. We know Mostert's out. A-Chain's going to get the ball a lot. They're going to have to just get Tyreek and some of these guys in open space and let them do what they do. Meanwhile, on the Seattle side, they just look like a normal football team. Nothing flashy, nothing great. Sure, they got DK and he can run his ass off, but they're just, to me, just an average run of the mill team at this current moment. That being said, I will take them at home, especially playing against injury riddled Miami Dolphins. The line is 4.5. I like it. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. Not too high scoring at least, but I definitely like it. 23-17. I'm going to take Seattle there. Another huge game of the day. The Baltimore Ravens. They're going into Dallas Cowboys. They're going into Jerry World. This one's going to be a toughie. Definitely going to be a toughie because Baltimore is walking in 0-2, and that's huge. Dallas does have a win. They're 1-1, but Baltimore walking in 0-2. They have to win this game. This is a must win. And then on the Dallas side of things, what's your defense going to look like? They bring in Mike Zimmer, supposed to be defensive guru, made some adjustments, all of this. But the Saints did work last week, did absolute work in Jerry World. And now you got Baltimore coming in with Lamar, with the Ravens, that they need this victory. And I'm going to take Baltimore. The line is Baltimore -1, but just the fact that they really need this win, I think Baltimore is going to get this win. I think they're going to outscore them. I think there's going to be a little back and forth here. I do like Baltimore to win this one 34-31. Justin Tucker walk-off field goal. I love to root against the Cowboys, but in an unbiased opinion, I just think that Baltimore is they need it more. They seem typically like the more well-prepared team. So I think they're going to walk in here and they're going to slug it out. I believe it's going to be a back and forth, a little bit of a slugfest, but it's going to be a great game to watch. Last game on the 4 o'clocks is Detroit at Arizona. Now, this is another one. Detroit, you got to come out and get this dub. Last week, Tampa came in and they did their thing. No matter how you want to shake it, no matter how anybody wants to say it, they did their thing and Detroit went down. Well, this Arizona Cardinals team actually looks pretty good. They look like they could put some numbers on the board. Which, if that's what it's going to be against Detroit, that's fine. They're well equipped to that. Can't have Goff out there throwing 55 times again. You got to find a better balance pass run, so that way your play action pass, is effective. But we're out there seeing on the Cardinals side, we're seeing all the things that everyone thought that the Cardinals could be in an early window, just in an early window. Not all the way sold on them, but if you got to be honest, they looked all right. They put up some numbers. Kyler, he found Marvin Harrison Jr. A couple times early last game, and that guy's going to be a beast. We know Arizona has some players. In this one, the line is Detroit by 3. Give me the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals at home with the upset. I'm going to take the Cardinals 38-34. I think this one's going to end with Jared Goff trying to go down the field, score a touchdown to win, and he's going to throw a pick. That's my call there. Last game of the night for Sunday night, Kansas City at Atlanta. This one, Kansas City's favored by 3. Kansas City comes in as Kansas City. They're good. There's not really, holes in them right now. Pacheco's down, so we'll see how their backfield works out. We know Piron's going to be back there, but I just don't know. They may not lean that much on their running game, just use it a little here or there. But they'll be fine. They're the Chiefs. Last week on Monday, we got to see a little bit of what we expect from Atlanta with Cousins. That last drive, walking down the field, scoring to win. That's something that Atlanta didn't have that they needed. So now that they have it, does that mean better things for them? I don't know. It's possible. But for this one, I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a lot closer than people would think. But I'm going to take the Chiefs winning this one 24-22. I think there's going to be a field goal at the end of the game. Don't ask me how I get, the 22, but 24-22 Chiefs. I don't think they cover. I like Atlanta plus the 3. That's that 24-23, right? So now tomorrow we have 2 games, 2 Monday Night Football games, which is kind of weird, but all right. I think they can give us maybe better matchups. If you're going to give us, like, go ahead and throw this Baltimore Dallas. That's a good Monday Night Football game. If you're going to give me 2, and I'm looking at everything else, right? I just want to be fair. We can keep one of these games because Jacksonville and Buffalo. Okay, I can get that. Then give me Baltimore and Dallas. That'd be a hell of a Monday night, just as a sports fan, right? But first game, like I mentioned, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's favored by 5. I definitely like Buffalo here. Jacksonville just hasn't showed it to me yet. I think Buffalo, they're hungry, they're grinding. They're showing me a little more than I thought that was going to happen coming into the season. I thought the loss of a lot of defensive players and the loss of most of their receiver room was going to hurt them. It hasn't, not yet. James has been cooking back there. Josh Allen's been doing his thing. Buffalo they look like they may be one of those ones, right? This week, I'm going to take Buffalo 27-20 over Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to score a little bit. They're going to look all right, but Buffalo at home, Bills Mafia, I'm just going to take Buffalo on this. Last game of the week, the Washington Commanders at the Cincinnati Bengals. And I don't know what to think of this game. I don't. Cincinnati's given up 7, but Cincinnati doesn't look impressive at all. They held their own with the Chiefs last week, but that could just be playing up to the Chiefs. Are they going to play down to the Commanders? I don't know. Nothing about the Commanders is sticking out and singing to me either. They kick a ton of field goals, but can you put something in the end zone? That's huge. Last week they kicked a ton of field goals to beat the Giants. That's not impressive to anyone. So that being said, I'm going to take Cincinnati, but I don't think they're going to cover. They're giving up 7. I do not think they're going to cover. I think Cincinnati's going to win this game 21-17. I think it's going to be closer than people expect. This is kind of a no one cares game. It kind of is. I mean, I think the reason people are watching this game is to watch Jaden, to watch Joe, maybe see what they do, see if Joe can get back in that old Joe Burr form, and see if Jaden Daniels is actually the guy. So other than that, I don't think anybody really cares about this game, which, yeah, it is what it is, right? So that being said, y'all, hey, enjoy the Sunday. Let's watch some football, WNBA playoffs, baseball, pennant race, heating up. There's everything that you can need as a sports fan. Only thing that we're missing some basketball, we're missing some NBA, missing some dunks, some of them highlights, and we're missing some hockey. But hey, it's all right. These are the times when sports are great. When you have a multitude of things, you have some playoff push, and then with the NFL, hey, there's 17 games, so you got to get it done every week. So y'all enjoy your Sunday. Until next time, be good or be good at it. I will holler.